Hello, and welcome back. Thank you for taking the time to participate in this session. It's my prayer that you find it beneficial and a blessing. In the last session, I spoke about Jesus' credentials as being humble and gentle at heart. And for this session, let's again attend to the words of Jesus as recorded in Matthew 11:28-30. Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light." In Jesus' words to all who are weary and carry heavy burdens, he makes three invitations. Come to me, take my yoke upon you, let me teach you. In turn, Jesus promised rest for our souls. So let's look a little closer at these three invitations. The first invitation, Jesus simply says, "Come to me." He invites us. He bids us to approach. He extends a friendly appeal. And this kind of invitation comes as no surprise from one who is truly humble and gentle. There's no demands or threats, simply come to me. And his address is for all who are weary or carry heavy burdens. Everyone who's tired is invited. Now, previously, I made jest of being tired of our current circumstances, but frankly, weary of life's circumstances, whatever they are, is sufficient reason to approach Jesus. Perhaps we're physically weak. Sometimes we're financially stressed. It could be that we're emotionally drained. Frankly, it could be any of these or all of these or something else entirely. But regardless, if we're weary, Jesus welcomes us to himself. Of course, if we're more than tired and actually weighted down with heavy concerns, then Jesus is all the more interested. He said everyone who needs strength, regardless of the degree needed, is invited to come to him. He recognizes our circumstance and he wants to help. And so he simply says, "Come to me." Now this first invitation is then followed with these: "Take my yoke and let me teach you." I remember during their university studies, our daughters secured internships in their chosen fields. And their departments helped them to locate potential businesses or nonprofits that offered placements. Each of them pursued internships that were closest to their purpose and that offered the most opportunity for training and development. Usually the internships offered little or even no compensation because the reward for their time was purely the chance to partner with experienced people in their field. As I understand it, if you're a promising young lawyer, one of the greatest opportunities is to clerk for a Supreme Court justice. That position is a premier training ground, and very few get the opportunity. During each 9-month term, in fact, a maximum of 37 clerks are invited. Out of 20 million U.S. students, it's a slim chance to participate. But if you want to practice law, it's an incredible opportunity to join with the finest legal minds in the country. It's a courtside seat to glean from the best. Yet, Jesus Christ invites us to an even more amazing internship. He said, "Take my yoke. Let me teach you." Interning with the Messiah, joining with Emmanuel, binding together with God with us. He extends a partnership in life to you and I for personal and spiritual growth like no other. It's greater than a university internship, even greater than clerking for a Supreme Court justice. Jesus offers divine internship. Now, for those of us might be a bit hesitant still, Jesus further explains, my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light. The typical concluding portion of a physician's training is called residency. Within the hospital setting, residency is notoriously intense and stressful. Students are partnered with a medical veteran, and the associated training is very difficult with long hours and heavy caseloads. But Jesus isn't inviting us to a residency. He's not welcoming us to an intense trial period. Remember, at his core, Jesus is humble and gentle. And so he reminds, his yoke is easy, his burden is light. His invitation isn't for us to do all the heavy lifting while he resigns himself to some stress-free administrative tasks. That's not the way it works. In fact, his design is just the opposite. His connection is to provide strength when we are weak. His design is to pull when we are struggling. Jesus' internship is to help you and I succeed. And the success Jesus provides extends beyond his might and power. Jesus is a teacher. He tutors and guides. He instructs and directs. He coaches, encourages, challenges, provokes. You know, when Jesus gets involved in our lives, he plans more than just lifting us up when we're falling. Yes, he does that, but then he inquires, how did you end up falling? How did you become so weak? What can you do differently going forward? You know, if our decisions have taken us down a wrong road, leaving us at a lousy destination, Jesus absolutely calls out to us, come to me. And as we willingly respond, he does deliver from our heavy burdens. And then he points us to the right road that leads in the right direction toward a blessed destination. Jesus invites us to partner with him and then learn from him. He said, take my yoke and let me teach you. Jesus' internship blesses beyond one-time solutions and into lifetime development. So to all that are weary and heavy burdened, Jesus offers 3 invitations. Come to me, take my yoke upon you, and let me teach you. Each of these are divinely beneficial to all who accept. Which brings a couple of questions. How do I accept the invitations Jesus offers? And what can I expect when I do? Those are great questions. Questions to pray about, to meditate on before our next segment. Until then, live faithfully.